Alright, this is Extremist Movie Debate, and today we are doing Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle.
I'm unpaid intern Jeff.
I'm Ethan, and one of us is going to love it, one of us is going to hate it.
Let's go inside their fate.
I love it.
I hate it. Hey guys, don't get someone from our past to get a cool robot arm and then try to poison the world and kill us. Spoilers are ahead.
It is a cool arm.
It's not that cool.
So this movie got 49% on Rotten Tomatoes.
We have temporary moderator Mitch in house. He did our intro graphic.
A terrific moderator as well, which brings me to my first question, which is who loves it?
I love it.
Ethan loves it.
Ethan loves it. Okay, so my
Cheers,
first
my
question.
Bully.
The first critic is Kate Erdland, and she says it's fun. So my question is, Ethan, do you think it's fun?
Hell yeah, I think
How much
it's
time
fun.
does he have?
Oh, you got a minute starting now.
Yeah, man, I think it's super fun. Like, I go into this movie, all I want is, like, cool gadgets and highly stylized action and hopefully not really off-putting anal sex jokes, and it delivers because it's great. It's every action scene, there's so many, like, you know, the church scene in the first one that everybody loves. Oh, there's this cool church scene set to Freebird. There's like 10 of those in this movie where it's just spinning around cameras. It's part filmed, part CG. It all's made to look like one take, but it's fun because it's just so stylized and choreographed. Like, I'm into it. The action is fun. Like, it is stylized and choreographed. You can say, like, it was, maybe it wasn't for me, but it was for me. This guy, I enjoyed it. I thought the story was perfectly adequate to get me from A to B, beginning to end. I'm in. I had no issues with this movie. It delivered exactly what I wanted it to. And, you know, if you've got a stick up your butt otherwise, then, you know, you're just an elitist.
Perfect. That's time. All right. You got 30 seconds for a response. Unpaid intern Jeff. Go.
All right, here's the thing. I mean, if your idea of fun is gratuitous violence, sex jokes, potty humor, where a highlight is them stopping a giant, like, ski sled thing because...
Gondola?
Because they want an old man to go, that's the first shit I had since 3 weeks ago. Like, then, yeah, this movie's fun for you. If you're a dummy, I'll tell you this. If you're a dummy, you will love this movie because you have such lowbrow humor that, you know, you're okay with just movies shooting literally everything in sight and not giving a fuck about any sort of background character.
All right, 15 seconds. Boom.
Look, I don't remember at any point in this movie where they're shooting into, like, innocent civilians. There's a car fight in the beginning, but it's not like anybody's... I guess the bad guys are firing machine guns, and there's possibly bystanders. But, you know, it's like...
Possibly. Those streets are full of people.
2 in the morning. There's nobody around.
15 seconds, Jeffy.
There's a ton of people around. They're weaving in and out of traffic like Fast and the Furious, but not as cool because it's British, so who cares? And then Eggsy launches missiles and blows up all 3 of the cars in a public place. What kind of message are we sending?
Efficiency.
Yeah, debatable.
All right. My next person that watched the movie...
Some idiot.
...is Sam Adams. And he says... Matthew Vaughn hasn't only run out of things to say, but people to hate, and without that underlying aggression, the movie feels like it's just going through the motions. Better luck next time, bruv. So my question is for Jeff. Do you think this is just going through the motions, or is it actually original? Yeah, you got a minute.
Well, it's not original because it's a sequel to a thing that's already created, a comic book. And it's not original in the sense where the first movie could have been considered original because you have this character, Eggsy, who is this ne'er-do-well street kid who's, you know, into stealing and drinking and fighting and fucking. And it's essentially the British version of My Fair Lady, just not good. And so you have this, like, true underdog story. Sorry to steal your tagline, dodgeball. And this one is just Eggsy being an asshole, still dating the chick that he did butt stuff with in the first movie, because who fucking knows why they bring that joke up again. He doesn't want to commit to her, of course, because you have a relationship built on anal sex. They introduce the goddamn statesman for no reason other than to set up Halle Berry and Channing Tatum potentially having a spin-off movie. This movie sucks. We don't need to see that. No, this movie isn't original. It isn't good. It isn't fun like other people on this panel think. Who fucking cares?
That's time. All right, 30 seconds to Ethan. Go.
That was real heated.
It was really good. If you're talking about, like, does this movie add anything to the conversation? Yeah, like the first one, maybe it was a dependency on technology, and this one, it's a dependency on, like, recreational drugs. It's that everybody, the statement that this movie's making is that basically everybody can hold a good job and a good career and still take drugs, and most people do. And to alienate them, progress the war on drugs, is to actually just shoot yourself in the foot because you're just killing half of the population.
All right, 15 to Jeff.
Except this movie has the bad guy profiting off of the war on drugs, so it's not really a commentary on the war on drugs. It's just... once we get to the open discussion, we'll talk about why that plan is so fucking stupid. Like, and that wasn't... You didn't answer the question at all. Like, it was about whether it's original.
You're the one that went off.
It was about if it's original.
Final 15 to Ethan.
Well, sure. I mean, it's based on a comic book, but I still feel like it is actually bringing some sort of relevance of the society around us into it. And I think that is... it's important to go into a movie and actually be able to say something about the culture we live in. This does.
That's done. All right, so I guess we're going to open this up to just open discussion now.
In the
How many minutes
first
do we have?
movie...
We have 4 minutes.
Okay.
4 minutes.
4 minutes is...
Awesome. In the first movie, it's
My Fair Lady.
Sam Jackson has...
My Fair Lady.
I think My Fair Lady was British. I mean, it was written by Shaw, right? So, Pygmalion, I think
Yeah.
it's British. Yeah,
I don't
Ethan
know.
Shaw.
From Fast and the Furious.
Yep.
No, so...
Shaw from...
So we could talk about but we're not
Prometheus.
talking about the first movie. We're talking about the second movie.
No,
Here's
but
the
what I'm
thing.
talking about,
This
if
movie
you're going to
doesn't make
compare
any
and
sort
say
of
the
sense.
first movie was so great, like you
No,
just
I didn't say
we're
the
gonna
first movie was great. I was saying it was potentially
Sam
original.
Jackson had
You're
essentially
misconstruing
was using
my
his
words.
technology in
You're
order
trying
to
pull
stop
a Joe on
overpopulation.
me
And in this
and
movie,
say
you
why
have
I'm
a
wrong
villain
when you're not really
who
listening
is
to the words
using
I'm
her
saying.
technology in order to stop the war on drugs and essentially legalize her own business because she has her own selfish gains.
But she's
she
not
does
stopping
it through
the war
such a
on-
terrible means
She's
that
not
she is a
stopping the
very
war
good
on
villain.
drugs. Like,
She's trying to.
she's
Essentially, her
profiting-
plan would
she's
work if
profiting
the
off of
president
the
wasn't
war
such
on
an
drugs.
asshole. And that becomes one of the best jokes of the movie,
Okay,
is that the
and so-
president's like, fuck it, I just won the
All right,
war
so
on
that's,
drugs.
so that's a huge like plot point for me.
No,
She
no,
wants
that's
to-
so good because
she-
the movie is aware of
she
its
wants
own
to-
weakness.
she
It's
wants to
aware that
start-
this
or
is
she wants to stop a war on drugs, but her business is founded on selling drugs, and she brags about how she's such this good drug peddler that she's made all this money.
Yes.
And so she wants to
But
take
what
that
she
away.
wants is fame. She wants recognition. She wants to be one of the Fortune 500 companies in
How about
Forbes.
she does this? Not, reveal the location of her weird island where it's 50s themed, but she still has Elton John there because, the biggest artist of the 50s was Elton John at the time. And, hide.
Who else would she take? Who else is alive
the
that
Four
would be a wonderful
Seasons.
performer? Yeah, he's doing great. Ricky Valley or whatever his name is.
So this island has like sentient robots. How about they do a robot of Elvis? Why isn't that not a thing? I don't know when Elvis was
It
around.
probably was a thing, but then they got Elton John to replace Robot Elvis because all of a sudden
It
they
still
had
doesn't
Elton
make
John.
sense in the-
Like there's
in the
a
thing.
reason that you
And
can
then,
change the lettering
and
on
so
the
then
marquee
we have
to saying,
this-
"Look, it's Elton John today." It was probably Robot Elvis beforehand.
We have
we're getting
a
caught
lot
up on
of
the
this
wrong
plot
part of the
does
movie.
not really make sense or have a point. Like you have a whiskey who is supposed to be a double agent. Why? Like it didn't do anything
Because
in the plot.
it's important
It
to say
didn't-
like
you
what
have
they're
him
doing.
being the president. Like
Because
him and
it's
the
the
president have
exact
the
same thing as the president. It's basically like, okay, you can say that those are similar characters, but I think it's
No, they're
important
the
to say
exact same character,
that
they
you
just hate
have
drugs, and that's
different
their-
perspectives on this.
They're
It's not like,
so one-dimensional that
but it's
it
not like
doesn't fucking
everybody
matter.
is either anti or for drugs. There are some mixed bags in there, and it's important to understand. Like even the very very good guys can
Everyone
understand.
is either anti or for drugs, yet everyone is a mixed bag. That's literally what you said.
No,
Here's-
I'm
that's a
saying
huge
no. I'm saying it's
contradictory
important to
yourself.
understand that there are mixed bags. I'm sorry if I misspoke there, but it's important to understand
Yeah,
that there
you
are
sound like a
people
horse's ass right
with
now.
different perspectives, and you have whiskey and you have the president who are otherwise perfectly good people
Two
that
sides
have
of the same
personal
coin.
motivations to be more anti-drug, and so it's to understand like, oh, like this movie is essentially saying that people that are anti-drug are bad. But they're not all bad.
Yeah, it's okay
and so
with
you
people
need
doing
that
drugs.
as a foil.
So it's two contradictory messages. It's we're fighting against everyone who does drugs because people who do drugs are bad. But we also need to decriminalize drugs because drugs aren't so bad.
Yeah, but
so,
then
like,
you
so
have the
what's
person who's trying to
what's the real
decriminalize
message?
drugs
What's the real
being
message?
the worst person in the movie, the person who grinds a man up to meat in the first scene,
But that was just
and
the
then
whole
makes
thing
his
about
partner
loyalty.
eat him as a
It's
burger.
understandable why.
Like I get
I'm a
that,
huge
but
fan of
what I'm
loyalty,
saying is
like,
you have
we have a host who left the
varying, you
podcast,
have
and
a
I'm
really
willing to throw
wide
him to a
spectrum
grinder.
of where you
that guy.
are on the drug scale, and it's important to have that if we're going to have a conversation about recreational drug use.
But we live in a country where we're not going to have a conversation about recreational drug use, so it's
But isn't
like,
it great to put that into what you would otherwise call a mindless action movie so that we can maybe open it up to this conversation that we are having now?
No, because brother's gonna go, yeah, we need to decriminalize drugs because I like to do cocaine. Yeah!
That's 4 minutes, baby.
Was that 4 minutes?
Yeah, it felt like
Oh,
8.
man. Yeah,
Well, I suppose that's it. What did you guys want to leave us with?
Well, I actually did enjoy this movie.
I hated this. I didn't hate this movie, but I did not enjoy it.
What in particular?
I didn't enjoy Julianne Moore's character at all. Like, it's just 100% chewing up the scenery. Like, I feel like everything that was considered charming about the first movie, like, they tried to take that but put it into this very, like, serious action movie with a few comedic bits thrown in. I felt the first movie was, like, kind of self-aware that it was a comic book movie, so they were okay being absurd, whereas this one, they were absurd, but then other moments, it would have, like, these serious, like, monologues from, like, Eggsy about how Harry was, like, the father he, always looked up for. I think every plot was so, like, circumstantial that it was, like, so coincidental that it kind of just... It didn't, like, kind of, make sense in the grand scheme of things, because, like, when, a spoiler alert, there's a very long sequence of Eggsy fingering a girl at some music festival, and all that does to serve is bring them to the base where the antidote is for the virus that Julianne Moore created. But, they were able to find her island with satellites, so why couldn't they just find that,
But they were only able to find that after they got an email that was sent to her. Like, they were able to intercept that. So that made sense to me. The fingering thing was a bit too far, and even the guy I saw it with said, that was a bit too much. But I said, no, it was really funny because I bet this movie was originally intended for 3D, and that shot would have been hysterical. It would have been like when I saw Harold and Kumar in 3D, and, like, the first 3D shot is just a guy exhaling smoke.
About Danny Trejo jizzing all over the place. But no, and so, and then, the fact that it was very clear that they didn't think they were going to do a prequel, or as not a prequel, I'm sorry, a sequel, is because Colin Firth, the way they revive him after being shot point blank in the face was, we have these gel packs we can put around your head and it stops the bullet from destroying your brain. Like,
you know what? But I've already thrown everything out the window when I go to. I already have turned off my brain. It's one of those movies, certainly, and that doesn't make it good at all. But as far as I'm concerned, like, I like watching Colin Firth fight people. I was okay with whatever dumb excuse they came up with.
I was like, the fight scenes were probably the only thing that kind of held up, and it's just this movie it just didn't do it for me, I guess.
The story's terrible. You're right.
No, yeah, and I mean, I hate any movie that when your big punchline of a scene is an old person saying a swear, like, who?
That was really bad.
Yeah, this is the best shit I've had in 3 weeks.
You know what? I got big laughs in the theater, so.
Yeah, my buddy I saw it with and we just had a lot of fucking groans. And then, they bring back this supposedly dead character from the first movie with robot arm, and he had no real big payoff anyway. It's like, okay, you were clearly here because they needed another fight scene, and here we are in this fight scene that is not really that interesting. And then Elton John, I felt sad that Elton John was in this movie because he's better than this movie.
False. I enjoyed Elton John in this. Just the
CGI shot of him doing karate and then, like, winking into the camera, legit winking into the camera. I was like, fuck this. Like, Elton, you're better than this.
Here's what I really appreciated, that Channing Tatum is a glorified cameo in this movie and Elton John is a major character. I thought that was fun. But, everything you're saying is perfectly legitimate. It's a very stupid movie.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I'm over talking you, but like the introduction of like the statesman with no real kind of payoff for that. It's like kind of clear
How
that
do
they're
they not know that each other exist?
yeah, and it's kind of clear that they're just trying to set up that's not a word. Set up like a third movie.
Yeah.
Like starring Halle Berry, Channing Tatum, and Jeff Bridges, which I don't think after this anyone's gonna give a fuck about.
No.
All right. I'm sorry, I rambled for so
No,
long.
you are
about that.
fine. I'll give it a 6 and no thunder.
3, no thunder.
All right. So we're at Extremist Movie on Twitter. We're at Extremist Movie Debate on Instagram.
Before we do that, I'm sorry, one more thing. So in the first movie, in the end, Eggsy, they have the butt sex joke with
Terrible. Everybody agrees it's terrible.
No, and so this movie, it's him and the princess in a very serious relationship. That's all built off of like an anal sex joke, and we're supposed to think that it's like this big, deep, romantic thing. I don't know
Maybe they had a connection. I mean, we all
Well, they
are
definitely had, like, a
gaga
physical
over the Big
connection.
Sick, which is just about two people who met at a club and had sex their first time.
Yeah, but
and
there's
then
just
they
more.
fell in love,
but
and
there's
that
just
was
like
real.
Well, I mean that's
Just because it
accurate, but-
started with anal sex doesn't mean there wasn't a genuine connection there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a gold digger.
Anywho, you can find us on these places.
YouTube, Facebook,
Instagram.
emd.pantspending.com. Thank you so much to Mitch. All of your graphics are amazing. You make us look way better than we actually are. He made these bars. He made all the animations before and after. And he's nice enough to do this while Joe's having a baby, so...
Congrats, Joe. Also, thanks to the intro outro music from Justin Hines, summerinsiberia.bandcamp.com. They just came out with a banger of an EP. They have another one in the works. Check them out. Give them money so they can keep doing this thing, because we like it.
Thanks.